What's up, traders? It's Trades here. Let's do a pre-close analysis on the 24th of October, which is the Thursday. Yeah, let's dive straight into it. We had loads of news today. PMI news in the morning for euros and pound, and in the evening or afternoon we had PMI news for dollar. So yeah, going into today, I was expecting price to come down and take out yesterday's low before finding support, which we've failed to do. We've just put in this strong bullish engulfing candle, most likely because we're so deep in discount right off this range. We have come down and tapped into the 50% off the fair value gap below that sell side liquidity, which also taps into the 50% off the weekly fair value gap on this area right here yesterday. And after finding that support, and as I was mentioning on the 4-hour time frame this morning in my pre-market analysis, that this candlestick pattern right here was quite a good sign that, you know, we might have made the low, especially because this, I don't know if it's called a morning star or an evening star, it took out the low of this inside buy candle in this 3 candlestick pattern formation and put in a bullish engulfing candle. And after that, yeah, it's just found support, came back down to tap into that sell side liquidity or this order block, the low order block, and rejected it during the PMI news and found support. At the moment, with market structure shifted, we are closing above this bullish fair value gap on the daily time frame. We've still got an hour and almost 2 hours, 2.5 hours left until market closes. So let's see I'll know how those candles have played out tomorrow morning. But yeah, I was kind of taken away by the fact that I was anticipating price to come down to this low yesterday. But let's just reverse engineer what happened today and try to understand why it didn't come down there. I think one of the main reasons is because that sell side liquidity deep in that range was taken out. Last week also, we had this order block pause candle that tried to push higher, failed, and then came down, took out liquidity below this low, tapped into the fair value gaps 50% on the daily time frame, and put in this candlestick formation yesterday, which on the lower time frame, 1 hour time frame, a failed retest followed by a market structure shift. So when I woke up this morning, we had a market structure shift above this high, but because the higher time frame order flow was bearish, I didn't really want to take a trade in this range. But as the news came out for flash PMI for France, the French flash PMI, and it came down and held this bullish fair value gap on the 60-minute time frame, it was a bit more evident to me that it was evident that we might have found support here. Because like I said, I normally want to see news drop price down into an area of interest and find support. And exactly what I was wanted to wait was for the dollar PMI news to come out and price find support at the low, or even this swing here somewhere around this low. But as I saw this pattern right here on the 5-minute time frame is clearer. So yeah, we were opened, New York opened, we pushed up above Asian high, came down, and during the French news we put in this strong bearish engulfing candle that came all the way down to the 60-minute fair value gap, went below it. And as this candle was printing, honestly, I was just sure that it's going to go up from here. I wanted to take a trade so badly here because it's just something I've seen. One news out of these two is going to drop price into an area, the other one's going to take it away, which is what I've noticed during backtesting. And I just wanted that news to come. I wanted this news to push price up first, and then during New York session come down. And after seeing this drop and price not holding this, that was just clear to me it was going to go up. And especially when you see this candle right here, this statement candle, this strong bullish pin bar or engulfing candle that held that fair value gap, took out that sell side liquidity, and then pushed up, was clear to me that I didn't think it was going to come down on this pair. And then we came into the 240 buy side liquidity below that daily time frame fair value gap and started to consolidate. And we had unemployment news come out right there, and we had, I believe, the PMI news for dollar come out just there, and it was just so anticlimactic. I was expecting, bigger drops. Nothing happened. It's just so slow. Because price came into this daily time frame fair value gaps 50%, rejected the high, I took a short around here after this rejection, and price came down, took out this low. I took an entry somewhere around here, but honestly, to me, price is failing to go below this low during French PMI early in the morning and the 1 hour candle was kind of clear that price is failing to push lower. Then we had this candle during unemployment claims again, right? This candle, strong bullish pin bar, and then price failing to go lower and pushing up, and again another clue that price might not continue lower. And then we had the PMI news for dollar, which was at 2:45 p.m. so 9:45 US time around here. Again, this failing to go lower. Honestly, I entered that trade and then I exited it straight away at break even because of the fact that I just couldn't. I don't believe we're gonna go any lower. And the fact that I zoomed out, saw that we held this fair value gap, and that is, came up. Although, yeah, we took out this high, held that daily time fair value gap. It's just, I wasn't expecting price to push back down because we've already held this bullish fair value gap. And then luckily I got out and we've displaced up. It's annoying because I really wanted to enter the trade before the German news after the French news tanked price, because I'd seen it during backtesting that whenever this happens during this news hours or during PMI news, you're gonna find price is gonna go in the other direction. But obviously I didn't trade because, well, yeah, I stuck to my rules. The only reason I this trade here was because I had a channel on the 15-minute time frame, which to me is a good pattern. Just I needed more confirmation, as in I needed market structure shift on the 15-minute, which I dropped down to 5-minute and forced this into a market structure shift, which played out, right? So failed swing, market structure shift we got, and then we pulled back into this zone, and then we came down and took out that low. If I had my stops up here and then target there, then yeah, fair. That at 618 pullback, right, that would have been okay. But I entered somewhere around here. I had my targets down there, had my stops there, and I exited that trade as soon as it hit break even. This is just me noticing what I can do for future TGIF days, especially when we've already taken sell side liquidity on Wednesday and we've started to displace it in a way that doesn't look like price is going to go lower. And I think the trade was here. This would have been a good trade at this fair value gap. But again, we had news coming out, PMI news, and I didn't really want to trade around that time. So I waited until that end, and we had new home sales as well. I maybe thought, okay, after that, it's clear on the pound dollar actually. Well, I wanted price to drop. I wasn't expecting price to drop too much on euro dollar. But yeah, we've started to displace up now, and honestly, right now for me, I want to see price come into this buy side liquidity on the 240, which happens to be below that fair value gap, which provides an area to go for a short, given that I see some form of pattern tomorrow morning. But we could not get there before Friday. We might drop down, find support somewhere. It would be good if we find support in this swing and then continue higher up. But yeah, we've got this bullish engulfing candle at the moment after rejecting a higher major point of interest. So I do expect price to continue higher up. So right, we've got this daily time frame order block as well. I do believe we can come up to the 240 buy side liquidity, at least fill up this fair value gap. So yeah, let's see how tomorrow plays out on pound dollar, euro dollar. Pound dollar also, right, we came and tapped into the second fair value gap yesterday on the weekly time frame, which also happens to be inside this daily time frame fair value gap. We came down similar to euro dollar, right? We came down in the channel. We've got this channel, RSI is diverging, and I was predicting, or I wanted price to drop down to yesterday's low and then look for opportunities to go long. But same as pound dollar, we left bullish fair value gaps, on the pound dollar, sorry, same as euro dollar, we left a nice fair value gap on the 240 after the, what session did we leave that after? So 5 a.m. right, 5 a.m. candle, we left a nice fair value gap which price came down and tapped into, and is currently finding bullish support on the 60-minute. I really wanted price to hold this level right there during London Open, and then come down and tap into this low during the pound PMI news. That would have provided me with a really good entry, but we didn't get that. We just continued to displace up, leaving fair value gaps along the way on the 60-minute time frame. And as I was watching this, right, we'd come into this fair value gap on the 60-minute. So yeah, no, this fair value gap and this order block on the 60-minute time frame, just before the flash manufacturing PMI unemployment claims news. And as I was watching this, right, we came up, we put in a market structure shift, or well, we did this just before the unemployment claims, which is this candle. We came up, right, and we put in this pattern where it was like a range, and I traded in the middle of the range right around here. I don't know why I keep doing this, and I wanted to target the 4-hour fair value gap, which is exactly right there. Had my stops right above this high, and then what happens? So yeah, clearly, right, this low above that fair value gap is a good low for price to come into and find support at. So me, before the news, I was thinking, okay, we've come into a point of interest, and price is most likely to drop into this low and find support during the PMI news, dollar PMI news, and from there we can continue higher up. But the news comes out, unemployment news comes out first, so anticlimactic, just doesn't do anything. And then we got the PMI news after as well. Again, nothing happened then, and I exited that trade at break even on this, because I wanted to see a drop. I wanted to see a massive drop during PMI news, and that doesn't happen. And when I didn't see that happening, that was a good enough reason for me to not take that trade. However, after the news, right, comes out, we put in this range. So this is essentially accumulation, manipulation. We manipulate to the top, and we put in this engulfing candle right at the top of that order block, and that would have been a really good entry. But like I say, I was already in another trade, this one, managing this trade, and once you're managing a trade, the amount of effort it takes is way too much, on like the psychological effort it takes is way too much. And after that, this was just, I didn't really want to get involved in that anymore. But then we come down to the low at that 240 fair value gap below this order block on the 60-minute time frame, and do exactly that again. We put in a nice little accumulation, manipulation, and then we have, right, honestly, anyway, here it would have been a good trade. Again, like I say, I wasn't ready to take that trade, because my energy had just been spent on this and the euro trade, and fuck's sake, annoying. I wanted price to come down to this low during the news. During PMI news, I really wanted price to come into this fair value gap and look for a trade. That was my plan the whole time. I just got really thrown off by the fact that we didn't come down there on the news. We pushed up one more time, and then after news, everything had settled down. It came down, and by then, honestly, I just wasn't ready to take the trade. But it's a good analysis for me anyway, because like I said, I wanted price to drop down. It did drop down eventually, just didn't happen during the news. It was such a slow reaction to the news, which is annoying. And then, yeah, we found support exactly where I thought we might find support, and find support in a way that was a good entry as well. But because I was short in euro dollar at around the same time, I kind of did not want to take a long. I think I was just watching too many pairs, trying to understand which direction dollar's going to go. And yeah, too much over analysis. But going into tomorrow, I'll see how markets open. We could come up and take out these highs. Maybe we'll consolidate around here, come down to that this one our low one more time? No, I don't know. I don't think so. We've already taken out the low, right? I wanted this price drop down to this low and give me an entry. That would have been so good, but it didn't. And right now, I'm going into tomorrow. I don't really have much to do, except if price comes up to this high, I will look to take a short, depending on what kind of pattern comes up at that high. So yeah, that's the day, and that's the play for the day.